Hey everybody, this is Jeff from GetZone.com. I hope you are fantastic. We are here with another episode of Bullet Points where we talk to leaders from the shooting sports and hunting industries about what's happening in both of those spaces. Today we're excited to talk to Joe Bartozzi, who's the CEO of the National Shooting Sports Foundation, NSSF. If you don't know their organization, not familiar with them, give them a look. They do a lot of great stuff for our industry in the world of government. They do SHOT Show. They do some lobbying for us. They work with manufacturers. They're a trade organization. Really do some fantastic stuff. We lean heavily on their research often. They've got some great new research out about new shooters, new gun owners within the pandemic, which is fascinating. So I'm going to talk to Joe a little bit about that. I'm going to talk to Joe about the SHOT Show, see where we stand with that. I know they've done some releases lately talking about moving forward with the SHOT Show, which is great. We're going to talk about the Gun Vote Initiative, which is an initiative that they have, getting new gun owners registered if they're not, making sure they're supportive of the gun rights and what we're doing in the Second Amendment. We're also going to ask them a little bit about welcoming new shooters, of all the new people who purchased firearms in the last several months, welcome them to the space, what they're doing at the National Shooting Sports Foundation on that front. So they've got a lot of initiatives happening. Joe's a fascinating guy. You'll learn a little bit more about his background and how he got to be where he is. So again, an industry guy at Mossberg. We're excited to talk to him. So Joe, welcome to the show. Welcome to Bullet Points.
Thanks very much for having me, Jeff. It's great to be here.
Yeah. So, I think a lot of people in the industry know a lot about the NSSF, but maybe we can just start there. And I'm sure you get this question a lot, but when you look on the site, it's about shooting, hunting, research, government, obviously SHOT Show, but maybe you can just give us a little bit of depth on what the NSSF is and how important it is to the industry.
Sure. I mean, the most basic thing about the NSSF is we are the trade association for the firearm and ammunition industry. So we promote, protect, preserve hunting and the shooting sports, but really I break it down into four categories. We really advocate on behalf of the industry at the state level, at the federal level, important initiatives where they're on the front line advocating on behalf of the industry. We educate. We have a great deal of educational materials. We have webinars, all sorts of programs that we put on throughout the year. Of course, this year it's all virtual, but we have a lot of work, a lot of materials that help educate the industry in best practices, compliance training, things like that. Of course, we communicate with the industry through our bullet points and other programs to get the word out about initiatives, about perhaps legislative things that are happening. And of course, we have the SHOT Show, which promotes all the great products and promotes trade throughout the entire world of our great product lines. So we really have those four basic buckets that we fall into.
Well, we know you guys are in the trenches every day doing it, so we appreciate that on behalf of the industry. So thank you for that. I know you came from Mossberg. You spent a long time at Mossberg. You've done a number of different jobs there. Sounds like from quality engineering through the quality manager, product service manager, kind of up the chain. Mm-hmm. And you ended at the executive vice president and general counsel. How was that transition? You're obviously trained, your background is in the legal world. So how do you get from there to quality engineer and then kind of work your way up through the ranks?
Well, I started out as a quality engineer at Mossberg in 1986. And I did a lot of work at that time with the various departments, of course, quality touching on so many different elements of everything from design to the legal aspects of the business. And I had gotten involved with some legal department projects, and I was approached in, I don't know, I forget what year it was now, probably 1997, about the potential of going back to school at night and getting a law degree so I could work in their legal department. And so I worked during the day at Mossberg, and then I went to law school at night for 4 years. And when I graduated in 2001, I passed the bar in Connecticut and then went over to work in the legal department full time. So I kind of had, because I was plant manager and quality manager, I had all kind of know where everything is located in the factory and the various processes that go up to making our product. But now I got to see it from a totally different perspective, a more legal, business-centric view of the company and the business. So it was a great learning experience for me, and I think the company got somebody in their legal department that actually knew the business inside and out from the ground floor up. So I think it was mutually beneficial.
Wow, good for you. That's great news. You don't hear a lot about that. People going back to get their law degree, after being in a company for a while. So that's great. They supported you on that, and
they did.
Obviously, it worked out well for you. So the transition from that over to NSSF makes a lot of sense because obviously you get involved with a lot of legal affairs, government regulations, everything else. I know you were down in D.C. recently,
Yeah.
when the president signed the Great American Outdoors Act. Can you talk a little bit about that and, how that experience was and what that means to us?
Yeah, that was an amazing experience to be on the invitation list to come down to the White House and actually be a witness to this very, very important piece of legislation. And just for those that may not be aware, this legislation starts to refund or fund, I should say, the outdoor spaces, recreational outdoor hunting lands, access to fishing properties, to archery ranges. There's been such a backlog of, frankly, unfulfilled maintenance projects over the years that this now finally is going to fully fund this for generations to come, so that we'll have a place to hunt and to shoot and to fish, creating access for millions and millions of Americans to the great outdoors. And it's a really substantial piece of legislation. I wish it got more press because it really is a big deal for not just us, but for everybody that enjoys the outdoors.
Yeah, we agree. We did a lot of coverage on it on our sites, and it did seem to kind of skate under the radar a little bit. So we want to make sure we got light around it, because I agree, it's really important. So, so let's shift a little bit, if we can, to the pandemic. Because obviously it's on everybody's mind. You're obviously in your office there, not your home office, not in the office. I'm at home. Right. So you guys have had some great research that came out recently about new shooters and new gun owners in the industry since the pandemic really started. And I was struck by some of the numbers, and I'm going to look down here for a second, but it looks like about 40% plus were first-time gun owners, and we've heard the same kind of anywhere between 40 to 70% that some people you ask. So that was good to reaffirm that. And it looks like most of the overwhelming purchases were focused on personal protection, which you can imagine given kind of the state of where we are. Handguns, of new handgun owners, it sounds like 80% or so were focused on personal protection. MSRs were about 70%, traditional rifles about 30%, and shotguns are about 74%. Also, 40% were women, which is great. And the thing that kind of alarmed me was only 24.7% had taken some sort of firearm safety course, but a lot of them intended to once they made the purchase.
Right. We're seeing a lot of evidence that there's a strong appetite for folks getting out and getting trained once things start to really reopen fully. We're still, even though a lot of places are now starting to reopen, I think there's still a little bit of trepidation about getting out and maybe doing some things in more of a public venue. But we're certainly seeing, based on our research, that people are absolutely talking about going out and getting more formal training as soon as they possibly can. So we're very encouraged by that fact. Of course, we encourage that wholeheartedly.
Yeah, we've seen the same thing. We've tried to put up as much education, first-time shooters, first-time gun owners, safety, videos, that kind of thing across the sites. So I know that's something that's important to you guys as well. So I guess the question then becomes, how do we welcome these people into the shooting sports industry and the hunting industry? I know you guys have a number of initiatives around this, but can you talk to that a little bit?
Yeah, there's a couple of things that we're really excited about and been working very hard on. One is what we call our Plus One initiative. And this is where we're challenging every hunter and shooter out there to take a new hunter or shooter out to the range or out to the field to get them acclimated to things like range etiquette, certainly safe handling and things like that, safe storage, of course. So we're looking for that mentoring opportunity to be more welcoming, because we've seen in the past surges. Of course, we've never seen a surge quite like this one before, and for quite the same reasons, perhaps. But we've seen these types of surges before with regard to gun owners, and I have to wonder whether or not our industry has always been as welcoming as it should have been to some of these new shooters to keep them engaged in the hunting and shooting sports. Because we see the hunting numbers, the license sales, they kind of bounce around, they trend down, they pop up a little bit, but overall, I wonder if we could be more encouraging, more welcoming, and more mentoring if we couldn't keep those hunter numbers up substantially to where they ought to be. So the Plus One is a big deal of ours. Of course, we've got our National Shooting Sports Month program going on right now, where we're actually taking a lot of these new shooters and bringing them to ranges and retail shops so they can be part of that community. There are specials going on, special events going on, sales going on. And again, it's a way to introduce the ranges to potential new customers, but also potential new trainees and customers to ranges and retailers. And it's very, very well received. We had well over 600 events and programs this month alone, and we're really excited about that.
That's great. Yeah, we've often noticed that we tend to have a bit of a black mark against us. We kind of band together, and people that didn't support the firearms industry, we kind of said, hey, we've been beaten up a little bit. So we weren't as welcome even early on in the pandemic that we saw for new people getting into the space. But there seems to be a market shift about welcoming people in and accepting them to the industry and saying, hey, look, you're here. You're one of us now. Welcome aboard. Don't worry about our baggage in the past, but we're just glad you're here.
Right. I mean, I think it's very important that we do that. I mean, the face of the shooting sports is changing. There's thankfully a lot more diversity, not just among women, but also minorities, non-traditional groups are coming in. And, these shooting ranges, shooting clubs, they owe it to themselves and to the future of the sport to be welcoming. And it's of course, it's business, but it also makes all the sense in the world for our industry and frankly, politically for our future.
Yeah.
If you look at conservatively, you say 40% first-time gun buyers, that equates to about 5 million people thus far this year alone. Politically, if those folks are inclined to vote based on Second Amendment issues now, that maybe they were on the fence before, but maybe now they're more inclined to support Second Amendment candidates, that is a huge shift in the opinion of the public. And we could nurture that and let people know how fun and safe the shooting sports are. I think we'll have a whole generation of people that are more inclined to be politically active.
We agree 100%. So, to that end too, I know that it's National Shooting Sports Month in August. So do you want to tell me a little bit about what you guys have going on for National Shooting Sports Month and how that kind of came about?
Yeah, well, it came about a few years ago and trying to find a way. I mean, a few years ago, like July, August, September, those were kind of the dog days. And we saw kind of a marked decline in sales during these, the hot weather months up here, around the country. So we were looking for a way to kind of reinvigorate the shooting sports, the shooting public, the gun ranges and the gun shops to kind of get a more, I would say, more even flow of people throughout the year. So we created the concept of National Shooting Sports Month. And we have had over the last 3 years, literally thousands and thousands of events all around the country, bringing people into shooting ranges to try new shooting sports, to get educated on what their retailer has to offer in terms of training and equipment. This year, we've got the Summer Target Challenge, where people can go to our website, download a challenge target, go out and shoot the target, and then post it on social media. And there's prizes for the targets and so forth. We have what we call our Gearbox giveaway, which many of our members of the industry, manufacturers and other folks in our industry, have donated goods and like guns and gear, accessories. And then at the end, we're going to have in September a drawing for some of these folks that have participated in National Shooting Sports Month to go ahead and win some of these great prizes. And it's really exciting. But literally hundreds of events this year are happening, even despite the fact that we've had to be very, concerned about the safety of all the participants, but we've got all these great safety protocols in place at the ranges, shotgun sports, handgun, rifle sports. We're doing it all this month, and we're very excited to be doing it.
That's great. Good momentum around it. A lot of buzz, which is great. So you guys are doing a great job with that. Let's talk about everybody's favorite topic now, SHOT Show. So I know you guys have come out and said it's a go. Everybody's excited about it. Attendance will be up. Registrations are up. Who knows what tomorrow holds, but the plans are going full forward with Vegas and making it. I don't even know how many SHOT Shows I've been to at this point, but tell me a little bit about the SHOT Show this year. Anything different that we can expect, or?
Well, this year we'll be expanding into a new facility, which is adjacent to the main exhibition hall at the Sands. We've added about 150,000 square foot of exhibition space, and that is nearly completely full right now. In fact, we've sold more square footage to this show than any previous SHOT Show in history. So we're very, very excited about this. We've been in constant communication with the Sands, the Venetian complex there, about safety of our guests, of our attendees. We're going to have some protocols in place regarding hand sanitizers, safety checks, temperature checks. We have one-way aisles this year to keep some of the social distancing. Again, to keep people confident and safe that we're going to do the right thing here. So we're very excited about it. We're really We don't know. We don't know as far as what's going to happen in Las Vegas, but we know from talking to the folks in Vegas, they are really looking forward to having the SHOT Show. They are doing everything they possibly can to make sure everyone there is safe. The governor, I know, is going to be involved in looking at some of the procedures that have been put in place here to protect our visitors. And so that's going to be a very welcome support from his office. So again, we'll see what happens, but right now it's full speed ahead, and we're looking forward to a great SHOT Show in 21.
Great. Well, I've told your team, we're here to support you guys any way we can on SHOT Show, getting the message out, doing whatever. That goes with some of your virtual things that are happening now as well. So if you need a bigger megaphone, just let us know. We're happy to put that stuff across our network. So
well, we really appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. So let's talk the last thing. We've only got a few minutes left here, but the gun vote initiative. Obviously,
Right.
An election year. I wanted to end with this because, it's probably one of the more pressing things that we've got going on as an industry, and you guys do a great job with this. So can you start off by just telling us what it is and how we can all kind of contribute to help in what you're up to?
Well, this is the most pressing issue. You're absolutely correct. Gun vote is designed to get all of these new gun owners to register to vote if they haven't already done so, and then to get informed about what the candidates' positions are, and then to actually go pull the lever on November 3rd. So really, gun vote is a big voter registration initiative. We are really excited about the response we've received so far. People can go to our website, gunvote.org. Again, it's gunvote.org, and you can see there we've got ways that you can register depending on where you live. Every state has a little bit different rules, but we have it all covered there. You click on that, you click on where you live, and it starts the whole process for you. It'll get you registered to vote right on that website. And then also we've got positions that the candidates have taken. So you can kind of compare and contrast the various positions regarding the Second Amendment, firearms ownership, and things of that nature. We have links to where your polling place is, depending on where you live. Is it in a school? Is it here? Is it there? We've got all that for you. And again, our number one goal is get people registered to vote. And like I say, you vote your sport. If you enjoy hunting and the shooting sports, you got to really consider what the candidates are saying, because I don't know that I've ever seen a more stark contrast between the two major parties with regard to firearms ownership than I've seen this year. I mean, I've worked in the industry for most of my life, and to have a presidential candidate come out and literally say on television that the firearms industry is the enemy, to me it is the most disrespectful thing I could have absolutely imagined. With all the good people, the hundreds of thousands of people that work in this industry, to say that, it's really insulting, and I hope people take notice of that, because it's reflected in, it's reflecting on all of us, and hopefully we'll vote based upon those types of irresponsible comments.
Yeah, we agree 100%. So keep that fight up. We're happy to help you on that one as well. So, I know we're coming to the end of our time here, but anything else going on at NSSF that we should be aware of or know that's, you kind of haven't chatted about yet, I haven't asked you about?
Really, I mean, the Gun Owners Care Initiative is something that's kind of near and dear to my heart. We started this in January, launching it at SHOT Show. And basically, it's a way for us to spread the word, about the good works that the industry and hunters and shooters are actually doing. Whether it's hunters for the hungry, whether it's right now we've got a campaign raising money for the Red Cross, whether it's blood donations, whether it's conservation efforts by our members, making personal protective equipment during time of COVID. But we're trying to share all these stories so that let people know that what we're doing is really good to help our neighbors, to help our communities. And it's a really good initiative to remind people of all this good stuff that we're doing.
That's great. Let me ask you one other thing I guess I didn't talk about. So I know the lobbying side of the world is and the gun owners world is in a little bit of flux, I'll say, at this point.
Mm-hmm.
What is the NSSF's role in lobbying and kind of working with other organizations in the industry? How does that shake out?
Right. Well, of course, our main concern, of course, is for our members, right? So our members have certain priorities legislatively that we would certainly support, and we go to bat. We have an office on Capitol Hill. We've got people that are in all 50 states to talk about anything that pops up, whether it be California or here in Connecticut. We've got people there that can address these issues. We do work with other organizations to the extent that we align with whatever the point of fact may be, because there are certain things where we just simply don't, like we don't really do a lot of consumer facing things because we're a trade association.
Right.
Although we do get into some consumer space legislatively, it's not our main focus. But there are times when we work with groups like the NRA, for example, on certain projects, and other times where they they work separately from us because we simply have, a different way to move on this based on what our industry needs. But we work with anybody that'll work with us. We're very, very keen on safety initiatives. Suicide prevention right now is one of our big things. So we're working with the Veterans Administration and the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention to prevent suicides. So these are things that we're doing, and to the extent there might be legislative components or lobbying activities associated with those, we would get involved as was necessary.
Great. Well, again, we appreciate everything you guys are up to. I know you're hugely supportive of the industry. Obviously, that's your objective. So whether it's the research you guys do, we eat it up and we share it on social media. People love it. They love to see what's going on. We get a lot of our own first-party data as well, and it kind of matches up in a lot of cases. So we appreciate that. We appreciate what you guys do with the manufacturers. We obviously love SHOT Show. And all the initiatives that you guys have going on. Again, as a company, we sit here ready to help you guys in a world that we can. I know, you had been president at NSSF for a while, and you took over, I think, in January of 2020, just before the pandemic really took hold, which had to be a whole different world, I'm sure. Just kind of like everybody else, shifting while you're driving a car. So see what happens. But,
it was not what I expected when I started as a CEO. That really, right out of the gate, this thing hit us. But our guys have responded really well. I mean, the fact that these gun sales are happening really is a direct result of NSSFs actually petitioning the Department of Homeland Security to keep gun stores open, to keep ranges open. I wonder what would have happened if we hadn't done that, because these sales wouldn't have happened if these places were shut down by these governors and other municipalities. So, really, I trace back a lot of these big numbers directly to NSSF's involvement, and I'm very proud of that fact that our guys are able to get that done.
Yeah, that was big. So we'll keep up the good fight. We appreciate it as always. And, if you ever have anything you want to get off your chest and get out to the industry, let us know. We're a supporter of you, and we're happy to help wherever we can.
Much appreciated, Jeff. Thanks very much for having me here today.
All right, Joe. Have a great day. We'll talk soon.
Thanks. Okay, take care, man.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.